Good evening, bonjour, and welcome to the 14th annual True Patriot Love Tribute Dinner. To all of you tuning in virtually tonight, thank you for joining us as we gather together to honor, celebrate, and remember those who served and those who continue to serve, and the families that support them. You are in good company, with Canadians gathering in person in Toronto, Ottawa, and Vancouver, with so many others watching from coast to coast to coast from the comfort of their own homes. My name is Kelly Scanlon. I served for 10.5 years as an infantry soldier in the Army Reserve. I served in Afghanistan in 2010 and returned home struggling with physical and mental injuries. True Patriot Love supported my recovery and transition in so many ways. Their leadership in hosting the 2017 Invictus Games in Toronto allowed me to be a part of a new team and wear Canada's flag again with pride as an athlete on Team Canada. In 2018, they helped me push myself to take on new challenges and break through limits as a member of the True Patriot Love 2018 expedition to the Himalayas. And for the last 6 years, their support of Team Rubicon Canada, the veteran-led disaster response nonprofit, has helped me find a new mission and purpose helping Canadians and others across the world impacted by natural disasters, including responding to the Atlantic provinces after the destruction caused by Hurricane Fiona. This organization has helped change my life, and I could not be more grateful for their dedication. I would like to begin by acknowledging the Indigenous peoples of all the lands that we are on today. While we meet today on a virtual platform, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the lands that we each call home. We do this to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility in improving relationships between nations and to improving our own understanding of local Indigenous peoples and their cultures. From coast to coast to coast, we acknowledge the ancestral and traditional territory of all the Inuit, Métis, and First Nations people that call this land home. Please join me in a moment of reflection to acknowledge the harms and mistakes of the past and to consider how we are and can each in our own way try to move forward in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. Thank you. Join us now for our national anthem performed by Corporal Retired Chris Earl.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. Quand ton bras s'est porté la paix, il s'est porté la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you to Corporal Retired Chris Earl for that incredible rendition. The past year has been a challenge for so many, from the recent devastation in the Atlantic provinces to the war in Ukraine and to the ongoing crisis in Afghanistan. Every day, more and more Canadians are learning about the role the Canadian Armed Forces play, both domestically and on the world stage. Thank you for being here tonight and joining us in paying tribute to our military and raising critical funds for those in need. True Patriot Love wouldn't be able to continue its important mission without donors and supporters like you. And on behalf of the Foundation, thank you. As a tribute this evening, we have prepared an empty table to honor the soldiers, sailors, and Air Force members who have lost their lives during service and cannot be with us here tonight, and the families they left behind. The table consists of an empty chair with only one setting, to remind us of the fragility of our comrades in the face of oppression. A white tablecloth to symbolize the purity of intentions of those who respond to Canada's call to arms. A rose to represent the families left behind. A red ribbon around the vase to signify the determination of those who gave body and soul. A slice of lemon to remind us of the bitterness of battle. Salt for the tears of the families in mourning, and an upside-down glass because those lost cannot eat with us. I invite you now to join me in a moment of silence to remember those lost, who gave their lives to protect our freedoms. Thank you, and thank you to all who have served. To my fellow service members and veterans, we honor and remember you. Service often leads to sacrifice. Those sacrifices often require support for transition and recovery. One of the ways those of you joining us tonight can show your support is by participating in our silent auction. You can visit the auction at tributeauction.com or by scanning the QR code at the bottom of your screen. Here you will find incredible helmets designed by veterans and artists across the country, some amazing travel packages, sporting tickets, and items donated and created by military members and veterans. Tonight's event would not be possible without the generous support of our committee members who worked tirelessly and dedicated so much of their time to this event. We would also like to acknowledge and express our gratitude to our event sponsors. Portfolio Highway, our presenting sponsor. RBC and RBC Insurance, our Platinum Auction sponsor. Deloitte, our Gold sponsor. Postmedia, our media sponsor. The Printing House, our print sponsor. And all of our silver sponsors and celebration sponsors. We'd also like to thank the many donors and supporters for your generosity toward the military community. Thank you for your support this evening. Throughout the evening, you'll hear inspiring stories that showcase the impact that your donations are having across Canada. True Patriot Love knows that service in the Canadian Armed Forces doesn't just impact the person who serves, it impacts the entire family. And they are committed to funding programs that support the entire family through counseling for couples, camps, and programs for military children, and providing a robust Friends and Families program at the Invictus and Warrior Games. These interventions make a difference in people's lives that medicine alone could not achieve. To hear more about how your donation is giving military families the support they need, let's hear direct from some veterans about the impact True Patriot Love funded programs have had on their lives.
For people who haven't had a connection to the military, they may not appreciate how disruptive these kinds of in and out training and deployment can be for the family, and how they might be able to support military families, which I think is something that we can all think about. When spouses or partners are deployed, it means that all of the household management falls onto the family member at home.
We, as military members, we have so-called support walls we're in, but the families don't always get that. And the families need that because they see what we go through. They see, you know, the nightmares. They see, you know, the changes in the rage and the happiness and the depression. Sometimes your dad or your mom can't get out of bed, or they don't want to get out of bed, or they've stopped eating. Kids can't always, you know, antiquate that. But if somebody else can help them put that into words, that can help them from becoming alcoholics, becoming abusers, you know, mal-coping skills.
Je vous dirais que le plus difficile pour moi, ça a vraiment été la séparation de la famille, des amis, de la communauté.
I would say for those who donate that your money is going to a well-worthy cause. I can attest to a lot of people that are veterans and, you know, from RCMP and military. A lot of us would literally not be here without True Patriot Love and the Invictus Games, because we had no identity outside of the military. There's no barriers, there's no labels. It's just everybody shows up, everybody's here to do something, which is to learn, to become better. There are things that we don't think that we're going to enjoy or we're going to get a benefit from, but we do. We just don't know that those options are out there for us, because we've just been so institutionalized for so long that sometimes we lose ourselves.
Quand on était en Colombie-Britannique, puis de découvrir la communauté francophone, il y avait un gros événement, ils ont fait une cabane à sucre. Puis écoute, c'était comme, wow! Tu sais, c'est pas grand-chose, là, mais quand t'es hors de ta famille depuis comme 6 mois, que t'es hors de ta culture, puis que tu retrouves une entreprise québécoise qui est venue faire une grosse cabane à sucre pour l'équipe francophone, c'était quelque chose. C'était comme, OK, je pense qu'on va être correct, tu sais. Je pense qu'on va s'en sortir.
Thank you to everyone who shared their story. And how interesting to hear from the researchers at the Canadian Institute for Military and Veteran Health Research, also known as CIMVR, about the overarching needs of military families across Canada. Did you know that your donations are helping support research projects through CIMVR that provide True Patriot Love with critical information about where funds are needed most, allowing them to make research-based decisions on where every dollar donated will have the biggest impact? You can make an impact too by heading to truepatriotlove.com/donate and making a donation tonight to support programs across Canada that give military families the resources they need to grow and thrive. With a $200 donation, you are providing funding for one military spouse to participate in a resiliency workshop, providing them with the tools and support they need, and introducing them to a community of people in similar situations. And talking about impact, tonight would not be possible without the support of our presenting sponsor, Portfolio Highway. Here to say a few words is Brad Myers, Chief Executive Officer.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brad Myers. On behalf of my colleagues at Portfolio Highway, I'd like to thank you for supporting the True Patriot Love Foundation and welcome you to the Tribute Dinner. Portfolio Highway is a full-service IROC registered digital platform. We provide investment solutions for family office and their advisors and are a new affiliate of Canso Investment Council. Canso has been a proud and long-serving supporter of True Patriot Love and the Captain Nicola Goddard Fund. True Patriot Love's noble mission is to ease the hardship that veterans and military families endure. Canso counts itself fortunate to have several former Canadian Armed Forces members as employees. This includes our founder, John Carswell, who served as an RCAF air navigator. Canso was named after the RCAF PBY Canso. It was manufactured by Canadian Vickers in Montreal and used by the RCAF during World War II. The Canso aircraft served in coastal patrol, convoy protection, and submarine hunting, and was instrumental in defeating the U-boat threat in the Battle of the Atlantic. The Canso aircraft also served post-war in northern mapping, helping to establish Canadian sovereignty in the Arctic, and in a search and rescue role, RCAF pilot Andy Carswell, John's father, made several daring rescues flying a Canso, for which he was rewarded the Air Force Cross by Queen Elizabeth. I was personally very fortunate to attend the Vimy Ridge 100th celebration in 2017 with my wife Jackie. As a part of our trip, we participated in a battlefield tour that followed the steps of our Canadian troops in World War I, and what we learned on that trip about the impact of our Canadian troops had in the war surprised us all. As many of you are aware, the Canadian Expeditionary Force fought together for the first time at Vimy Ridge in 1917. Canada's success at Vimy Ridge, which the French and British failed to capture, was the first significant victory for the Allies in World War I. Although the victory at Vimy played no significant part in the outcome of the war, the lessons that the Canadian troops learned there did. The shock troop tactics the Canadians learned at Vimy were perfected in the last 100 days of the war. Canada and Australia were positioned on the southern part of the line and led to the advance that chased the enemy out of France and led to Germany's surrender. Canada entered the war as a largely unknown part of the British Empire forces and exited the war, gaining the respect of their Allied partners and of their enemy as well. It is said that modern Canada emerged as a distinct country from the Battle of Vimy Ridge. Since then, as you might know, Canada has played significant roles in World War II, the Korean War, NATO Cold War defense, and the turmoil in former Yugoslavia, Afghanistan, and many other United Nations peacekeeping operations around the world. Canada's military helps in natural disasters like the BC forest fires and the cleanup from hurricanes and ice storms. We know from our veteran colleagues that military service takes a tremendous personal sacrifice from the military members and their families. True Patriot Love raises funds to make their lives better and in some cases actually saves lives. We support True Patriot Love wholeheartedly and without reservation. We hope you will join us in supporting True Patriot Love. Indeed, we want no soldier, sailor, or airman to be left behind. We have much to be thankful for living in Canada, whether we were born here or emigrated here. Canada is a progressive, safe, and free democratic country. It has become ever more evident with the war in the Ukraine that democratic nations like Canada need to maintain a well-staffed and well-equipped military. The vital support that True Patriot Love provides for Canadian military members and their families allows us to give back and appreciate their efforts at keeping Canada true north, strong and free. Through True Patriot Love, we have met many impressive members or former members of our military. We believe these people deserve our gratitude, respect, and if needed, our help. We owe that and much more to them and their families. Thank you for your support of True Patriot Love, and we hope you have a great evening.
A huge thank you to Portfolio Highway for their ongoing commitment to supporting the military community. Studies have shown that children of military families experience double the rate of mental health issues than civilian children. With this in mind, True Patriot Love is leaning in to help. Camps provide a safe environment for military children to connect with one another, learn new skills, and gain support. They also lend military parents a helping hand. Thanks to your generous support, True Patriot Love provides funding to these crucially needed camps that support the unique emotional and physical need of military and veteran children. We need the help of everyone watching tonight to get us to our goal, so please donate now at truepatriotlove.com/donate. You can also navigate to the donate page using the QR code below. Did you know it costs only $400 to send a kid to camp for 1 week, providing them with an opportunity for fun with other kids who also understand the experience of living in a military family? Your donation right now will have such a huge impact on military families across Canada. Let's find out a little bit more about how camps specifically crafted for military families are having an impact.
Children in military-connected families experience a number of different stressors or unique challenges. When their parents are going off to work every day, there is this inherent risk in the job that is different than many other jobs that parents have. Children in military-connected families are going to be moving around the country or even outside of the country. You're kind of constantly changing or adapting at a rate that's different than, a kid who's not in a military-connected family.
We stayed in Edmonton, which was home for both of us. And we didn't get our first posting until 10 years in. And then it's been
just about every 3 years.
Moving ever since.
It was very difficult. It got very lonely, especially being in a town where I didn't know many people. I really did rely heavily on the MFRC.
It's not just the moving, it's everything associated with it. The location that we're going to live. Can we afford to buy a house there with, the current market? It's their education. It's their mental well-being.
We need to make sure they have the right supports and services that can help them along their developmental journey while their parent is in the military and afterward as well.
Donc le CRFM a été une belle ouverture là, pour nous permettre d'avoir des petits moments, entre autres des activités que les enfants pouvaient faire.
My son has gone on camps through the YMCA. The last couple of years he has done mountain bike camp. That's actually where he is today, is at mountain bike camp. He's been having a blast this week, so he did not want to miss it.
Le CRFM, c'est devenu comme une famille pour nous, là. Les gens qu'on rencontre, les autres familles de militaires, puis le personnel aussi du CRFM nous connaissent bien, puis ça fait toujours plaisir de se voir.
Qu'est-ce qu'on aime le plus, c'est les activités. Moi, honnêtement, c'est que c'est pas mal pour tous les âges, déjà qu'il y a une garderie pour les plus jeunes. Il y a aussi des activités pour les plus vieux.
Donations go a long way. They allow kids to be kids, to experience new things.
Hi, my name is Pierce.
My name is Graydon. My name is Spencer. My name is Everett.
We live in a smaller military community, so it's really cool to have all of these people that I can relate with.
It means so much to the military families that receive this grant. You're creating memories for a lifetime for these children.
Those camps sound incredible, and such a great support for military families. Every year, True Patriot Love awards the Patriot Award to someone who has shown remarkable dedication to supporting and advocating for Canada's military community. To share a little bit more about the Patriot Award, I am pleased to introduce Sean Francis, Chair of the Board of True Patriot Love.
Good evening and welcome to members of the Canadian Armed Forces, veterans, government partners, families and friends. 14 years ago, when I hosted my first tribute gala, I dreamed of a night such as tonight, when Canadians across the country would come together to honor, celebrate and recognize those who serve and the families who support them. I'm thrilled that tonight, True Patriot Love Foundation is hosting dinners across the country and that Canadians are tuning in virtually to join in the celebration. Over the past year, we have all been reminded of the contribution of our military members. From the recent natural disasters in Atlantic Canada, to the support we are offering to Ukraine, and to the unfolding circumstances in Afghanistan, our military has been there to support. These events give us pause and demonstrate the immense weight shouldered by the brave individuals of our military. They have fearlessly stepped forward to serve our country, often leaving their families and loved ones behind as they embrace challenging conditions with great risks. Every step of the way, True Patriot Love has been there to provide critical support, and our commitment to this community has only strengthened. True Patriot Love is proud to support programs across the country that provide veterans with an outlet to support their ongoing mental health and physical recovery, whether through art, music, dance, talk therapy, or sports. And this year in particular, True Patriot Love is thrilled to have been awarded the first ever Invictus Games featuring winter sports. In February 2025, the Invictus Games will take over Vancouver and Whistler, showing the world how committed Canadians are to support the recovery journey for all ill and injured service members. I would be remiss if I did not extend a thank you to the Government of Canada and the Province of British Columbia for their support in securing and hosting the Games, and to the First Nations communities who have welcomed us to their traditional lands. We are truly grateful to our donors and supporters like you, who have stood with us to make a positive impact in the lives of more than 38,000 military members, veterans, and families over the past 13 years. We thank you for your continuing support and for standing with us to assist those who need us. Every year, True Patriot Love recognizes one individual or organization that has made an outstanding contribution to the resilience and well-being of our military community with the Patriot Award. This year's recipient has been a strong supporter of True Patriot Love for many years and a strong advocate to ensure all Canadians understand the sacrifices made by those who serve. Both personally and through their family foundation, they have donated time, money, and passion to support those who serve, ensuring that the stories of the Canadian Armed Forces are shared. I'm thrilled to be able to present tonight's Patriot Award to the Elliott Family Foundation, represented by Margaret and Ray Elliott. The Elliott Family Foundation is committed to protecting our land, supporting those that have and do defend it, and ensuring that all those that inhabit it have access to shelter, vital resources, and care. The foundation believes in the power of sport, the joy of making dreams come true, and the gift of health. But most of all believes in the strength of family and promise of the future through improving the lives of others. Please join me in raising a glass to someone who understands the ongoing supports needed by our veterans, the Elliott Family Foundation.
Good evening, everyone. Our family is here tonight, like yours, to help reaffirm in our own small way the significance of Canada's military and the role it has played in the shaping of our lives. It's certainly to honor those that have served before and still serve now. But it's also very definitely about the spirit of being a Canadian. We believe that through a series of letters and storytelling, primarily connected to D-Day and Remembrance Day, we've tried to teach the relevance and the resilience of Canadians during war and peace, and instill those values that accompany that history with our own children and grandchildren. So why do this? Why make this specific effort? We're doing this because if you gave all that you had and died, you should be remembered. If you gave all that you had and lived, you may need and surely deserve our help, and if necessary, our lifelong support. Governments are often required to send people into harm's way, but are often less able to fully support the consequences of that decision with those that return home. These veterans have no white markers surrounded by poppies in some faraway foreign field for us to mourn. These veterans are here with us where they belong, and while the harm done can often be invisible, it is no less painful for both themselves and their families. They need us now, just as we once promised that we needed them. That is where True Patriot Love steps in. We're doing this because our collective history has made us who we are as Canadians. It has kept us free at both war and peace. As many of you know, since 1867, 100% volunteer expeditionary forces have been sent with various missions more than 20 times, from the two Great World Wars to Korea, Vietnam, Afghanistan, and most recently the ISIS Caliphate. From Vimy Ridge to the Somme Offensive, from Juno Beach to the Fusillade. No country on earth has chosen to accept more United Nations peacekeeping assignments, more than 40 such, from the Congo to Cambodia and Kosovo to Rwanda. Since 1867, we have lost 113,851 Canadians to war. We're doing this because we want the next generations to understand that Canadians have always done what needed to be done. It's not because it's a bumper sticker or some tired rhetoric that makes good copy, but because it's who we are. Britain has historically called upon us in the most dire of circumstances because we can be relied upon to fight each day with courage and never quit. Like so many families of that era, my father left home in 1939, survived the D-Day landings, fought all the way to Nijmegen in Holland, and returned home in 1945 to greet a son he had only seen in pictures. In 1940, my mother, then a 21-year-old with a new baby, left the dairy farm to work in a plant assembling grenades. Many of her family and Margaret's not only fought in Europe, but worked in agriculture and food processing, rationing their own intake to feed a hungry Allied effort. All of this may seem strange to today's generations, but was a common story back then. At the time of World War II, Canada only had 10 million people, and 40% of every man, woman, and child gave up 5 or 6 years of their life to help in the battle to ensure our freedom. In the toughest of times, Canada has always punched above its weight. Lastly, and perhaps most important, we're doing this because we worry. We worry that lest we forget becomes we have forgotten. I know that you and all of us will never let that happen. We will never forget on whose shoulders we stand. Remembrance Day cannot be the only day that we reflect on their sacrifices, both the living and the dead, so that the values they fought for will live on. We believe that a big part of being a Canadian patriot is never forgetting those that gave you that opportunity. When I was young, my father used to say, people will be more likely to listen to you if you talk less and say more. We have tried to stay true to his advice tonight. On behalf of the Elliott Family Foundation, thank you so much to True Patriot Love for this unexpected and much appreciated honor. Good night.
Thank you to Sean, and congratulations to the Elliott Family Foundation on their incredibly well-deserved award. A reminder that you can make an online donation right now at truepatriotlove.com/donate to help support military families across Canada. Did you know that $1,500 will empower 4 veterans transitioning from the Canadian Armed Forces to civilian life with the opportunity to build a new community of support through volunteering and mentorship? This helps cover the cost of travel, accommodation, and participation in a training workshop and program. Not only will your donations tonight go to support much-needed funding for military camps, they will also support programs across the country that provide military families with access to mental health supports, therapy, creative arts programming, and so much more. Let's meet a few programs that your donations have helped fund.
We came into existence because we just saw that there were some veterans that were underserved. Women make up about 15% of Canadian veterans, and so because they're a minority, a lot of services are not necessarily designed with their needs in mind. And so my co-founder, Erin Kinsey, is a woman veteran. She served with the United States Air Force, and together we just thought about some of the things that she enjoys doing and that make her feel healed in her journey. And, we started thinking about things like gardening, working with animals, being outside, being close to nature.
So I think it's important to continue to support a program like this by True Patriot Love and others, because we as women get a lot out of it, and it's helped us a lot to come back from the brink in some people's cases. And we need to be able to support the future veterans, and hopefully they don't need the resources, but to know that these resources exist for them is just very, very important.
So the PMFRC is an organization that is here to provide services, support activities for our Canadian Armed Forces members, families, and the veteran community. Our role is to hopefully encourage the families to come see us, let us know what they're interested in, what can we provide, how can we collectively get families together so they can start building their extended network of support.
So one of the programs that we actually received funding from True Patriot Love for was for our sensory room. So we currently don't have a permanent space to have a sensory room, so what we came up with was our portable sensory room. So whenever we have a big group of people here, multiple programs running, one of our big events, or we go to someone else's event, we would set up a room, a space, a tent, a little alcove somewhere, where if anyone needed a break during the day, if it just became, the noise was too much stimulation, they needed a break, they could go relax with our bubble tubes and some sensory toys and just have a few moments to self-regulate and catch the breath and then recharge and then go play again. So that's been wonderful for families to know coming to an event that might be too overwhelming, that there is a place to go if they need a bit of a break.
Places like this one wouldn't exist without organizations like True Patriot Love. It is really through the stories of women and 2S LGBTQ veterans being able to show that, they also served our country. They also are valuable members of our community who need a little bit of support. And, that's something that True Patriot Love has really done so much to try and develop. And they have, developed special programs specifically for women veterans.
True Patriot Love has really supported us in some of the funding and being open to suggestions and ideas of what we can provide.
Incredible. We're so lucky to have programs like these in Canada that support the military community. Thank you once again to all of you at home for being with us tonight to honor our brave individuals in uniform, those who have served in the past, and their families. As we saw this evening, your help is essential, and it's going a long way to transform the lives of service members, veterans, and their families across Canada. We will continue to pay tribute to the community tomorrow with Remembrance Day, and throughout the year for all they do and all they have done at home and abroad for Canada and others around the world. A reminder that the auction is still live, so scan the QR code at the bottom of your screen and head over to make your final bids on some incredible items. The auction closes tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. And of course, you can still donate anytime to support programs across the country that help military families. Thank you once again, and have a great night.